Friends, it's Everything Mayor. I'm your host, Tom Butwin. As promised, I'm here in Anaheim, California, doing a late night episode after my experience at the 40th anniversary for Paul Reed Smith Guitars event that I was lucky enough to be invited to attend. And we'll get to the main event in just a second. If you can see the thumbnail, if you're watching this on YouTube, I think you already know where this is going. But before I go there, I do have to say thank you to all of you who watch this, because in part you are responsible for what transpired this evening. And it was never my goal for that to happen. My goal here is the same as you all, which is just to hang out, talk about an artist that we love, his music, all the things he's involved in, and just really just enjoy it. And, I've gotten to meet so many cool people like you from doing this. And that is one of my favorite things about this. The second group I have to thank is Paul Reed Smith Guitars. They are incredibly generous. They were the first company to reach out to me when I started doing guitar YouTuber content on my personal channel 3 years ago, and they set me off in a direction by reaching out, offering up guitars for me to review and check out. They set me off in a direction that led me to being here and working with Premier Guitar and just meeting with so many amazing companies and people, and then getting an invite to an event like this to celebrate a company that is so deserving, filled with wonderful people, and of course, incredible musical instruments. So thank you to PRS as well. So let's talk about the night. Now, this was a celebration of, like I said, a company that is really, really special. And I won't dive into the music history or the state of other companies or how they've been sold or gone through different changes. But I mean, Paul's name is on the guitars. Paul plays the guitar. He's there. The people who are at the company are very special, and that is a unique thing. So this party was a celebration of that, filled with incredible musicians on stage. I mean, the list is pretty insane. When you look at who was there, some of the people who couldn't be there, who sent videos in. I mean, it was really an amazing celebration of music, and a company that is, like I said, so deserving. Of course, the capstone, the headliner, the anchor of the whole night was a performance by John Mayer. And John played with Mark Lettieri's band. If you don't know Mark is incredible. He plays with the Fearless Flyers. You've seen him on Wolfpack stuff, Corey Wong, like that whole world. Mark's amazing. His guitar from PRS is amazing as well. And so they played with John. They did mostly John's songs. And it was incredible. It was super cool to hear another band play with John and do those songs, because I mean they were well rehearsed and stuck true to the songs. But then there were points where it's like that now they're kind of putting their own spin on things, and to see John fronting that band, it was really cool to hear some of the slightly different interpretations of the parts of the songs, and it was really great. Now, the highlight of the evening, at least what I thought was going to be the highlight of the evening, was Gravity, and that was the set closer. And like I said, I am just incredibly grateful to be doing any of this. I've done a lot of different things in music, and these things that I've gotten to do over the last few years, thanks to YouTube and many companies like PRS, and it's mind blowing to me. So hearing Gravity from the second row, which is where I was sitting, and I wasn't intending on sitting in the second row. It's an important part of this story. I was actually watching the show on the side at the House of Blues Anaheim, which is kind of a horseshoe sort of venue. It's like 1,800 seats, or standing room too. So it's not huge, but I had a great view with my good friend Alex from Super Dangerous Studios, who you've seen on this channel. Mike Cole, another amazing YouTuber. We were just standing over there on the side, and intermission hit, and my good friend Gummy Visuals, or Silver Sky Guy, you may know him on Instagram, who will have a bunch of video of the show tonight on his channel, was sitting down front, and he kept texting me saying, "Hey man, there's a couple seats behind me in the second row. You should sit there." And I was like, "Nah, I'm fine. I'm just going to stand here. Great view, relaxed, just enjoying the night." First half of the show was amazing, and it just felt really good. But I went down to say hello to him, my friend who's sitting in the front row. And when I went down there, I looked up and I'm like, wow, I am very close to the stage right now. And I looked over, and the 2 seats were still open. And so I had to indulge, and I sat and waited for the second half to start. And Mark played a bunch of his songs, amazing. Phil Sace was out. It's just amazing. I mean, like, so many cool things happened. I can't even remember all of them right now. But then John's set started. Gravity was the closer, and I've heard that song many times. I've been fortunate enough to see John in concert many times. I think the first time I saw him was 2003, and Gravity obviously hasn't been around the whole time, but it's changed over time. But when I tell you, the end of that song tonight was, and I don't know. I mean, it certainly the way John was playing at the end of it, I feel like he felt it as well. I feel like the room felt it. It was really special. I've been fortunate enough to experience a lot of really cool live music moments, both on stage and off stage, in the audience. And when something really, really cool is happening, a really cool moment. And the end of that song, it made me emotional. Certainly, Paul Reed Smith was emotional. He actually said, through some tears, rightfully so, that was some of the most beautiful guitar playing he's ever heard. I have to agree. To hear that tone, in person, that song, the lines, the phrasing, just the whole thing was it was insane. It was very special. Really, really great. Mark Lettieri's band just crushed it. Just so good. And then John gave a really, really wonderful speech in toast to Paul and the company, and just really encapsulated, I think, what everybody was feeling in the room after that song. And it was really cool. It was he had, everybody was hanging on his every word, as they should have been. And John was the perfect person to take that role and give those words. So it was really cool. And I would have been so happy. That the night, I was. It was just absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe that I got to sit there and watch that. It was one of those things where it's I'm just so grateful that I was there. So the night begins to end, and one of the more surreal things that's ever happened to me happens. And John, I'm in the second row, and he looks out and he says, "Hey, I want to talk to you." And I'm thinking, okay, there's clear. The room is filled with unbelievable musicians and very notable people. So I'm thinking here, let me just kind of duck out of the way. He's like, no, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, me? He goes, yeah, you. I want to say hi to you. And I was like, okay. What do I do? I'm not going to jump on stage. I'll get tackled. So Bev from PRS comes to the edge of the stage and said, "Hey, come here, Tom." She used my name. And I'm like, "Hi." She's like, "Why don't you come over here?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll follow you." So I go to the side of the stage, and I begin to walk up, small steps that lead you onto the stage from the floor of the venue, which are often there. And I'm immediately stopped by a security guard who says, "Hey, he doesn't have any credentials," to Bev from PRS. And she's like, "Well, John Mayer wants to say hi to him and talk to him." And she's got, I mean, she put the whole event together, so she's got all of the credentials. This guy wouldn't let me through. So he's like, you need to come down off these steps right now. I'm like, okay. So I just came down off the steps, and Bev was like, just stay right here. So I just stood there, and I had a minute to think and say, okay, so one of two things is about to happen. I'm either going to not be allowed backstage and then have this hilarious story of John clearly recognizing me, knowing who I am, and saying he wants to talk to me, and then I can't get backstage and I can't talk to him, and likely, probably never will at that point. Or this is going to happen and I'm going to get pulled backstage and I don't know what's going on. You would think that someone in my position would say, hey, I'll just think about what I'm going to talk to him about if I ever happen to run into him. And I've joked about it before, and but I didn't, because it's like, well, I don't know. Like, I mean, it depends on the circumstance, and if I'm walking by him in a hallway, I'm not going to stop him and, have some big conversation with him. But so Bev from PRS, along with a few other people, so kind, dedicated like all this energy to getting me backstage. So I go backstage and I'm walking around, and I'm side stage standing next to Jeremy, John's guitar tech, who's, packing things up and getting ready to hit the road because the show is over. All of these amazing guitar players are just standing there on the side of the stage, enjoying the moment that they just got to be a part of. And then there's me, and I'm standing there, and John comes, he comes over, and we proceed to have like just a very, very good conversation. And he's seen the show. He's seen many episodes. And, I asked him, I was like, is it weird that someone is dedicating all this time, and he's like, no, he's like, I get it. Like, he's obviously, as we know from all the things that he's involved in, like he deep dives on a lot of stuff. And that's, I mean, honestly, it's a big inspiration for what we're doing here. It's like deep dive on the music, deep dive on what he's got going on, what he's doing. And so he gave me like a lot of time. And I thought I was just like, hey, how you doing? Maybe grab a quick picture. Like, hey, I've seen some of your videos, like, great, and then move on. But dude, he was completely engaged with talking to me like longer than I deserved. Okay, like I'm grateful for the fact that he wanted to talk as long as he did. But just with like everybody else who was there, like I had no business being there. Which, I mean, I guess maybe I did. I don't know. I certainly didn't feel like I did. But he was so kind, so generous with his time. I just told him, I said, man, like we just, like we all love what you do so much. We're all interested in what you do. And we just, and I use the word we, to, bringing you along virtually. And I just said, we just really enjoy talking about it and hanging out and having, kind of a little community of where we discuss these things and talk about what you're doing and talk about your music and why we love it and what it's, what it's meant to us. And he was just so appreciative of that. Super, super complimentary and just very kind. Like, that's all I can say. I'm not going to recount the whole conversation. I won't, I'm not going to dive into everything. I mean, there's nothing like crazy like that was discussed, but it's like I'm not going to try to give it to you word for word. But John, if you're listening, thank you. It meant the world, and I told you that, and I meant it, and certainly was never on my radar to actually get to talk to you. But I'm so happy that I did. I hope we get to talk again in the future. That would be amazing in whatever capacity it happens to be. So that's my story. And I'm a little bit like still in shock that happened. And I'm just very grateful. And again, didn't expect it. Didn't expect that. So that's that. That is, I've got a full day of things I have to do tomorrow at the NAMM show, which I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm be very distracted. But I'll be fine. I'm just happy to be here. I'm grateful. And
what a night. What a night. What an amazing night of music. What an amazing celebration of a really unique and special company. What an opportunity to see an artist like John in a small venue with a different band who is amazing. And then for me personally, to have him, asked to say hello and have me come and talk to him for a bit. Just mind-blowing. Just really cool. Really cool. I'm gonna stop talking about it now and just go think about it. So we'll be back to normal episodes and normal schedules soon. Thank you for being patient as I took a little bit of time to do some other things, namely here at NAMM and on my other channel as well. So see you soon. We'll talk.